feeling misunderstood is not a nice feeling. It comes with feeling frustrated, feeling lonely because you're having your thoughts within yourself that you don't see mirrored in the real world, or it's hard because you're internalizing all these thoughts and feelings and passions. Or in situations where you bring up something, the person just runs with their own narrative without letting you speak. We just want space to verbalize and speak and have the person actually care and not run with their assumptions, right? I do agree that to some degree we live in a selfish world. Everyone is thinking about themselves. How can I say what I need to say and leave? And we don't like to give that sentence between words because are we scared of silence? But it's those silent moments is when you get to talk. Having permission, giving permission to yourself to feel understood is a journey. And you might not think that the people around you know you that well. And so that makes you feel isolated, makes you feel like you're by yourself, and all those things and feelings that you have, no one knows the truth better than anyone else. We're all human, we all have our own journeys. There's so much we can learn from one another. Now you, my friend, have something to share. And someone wants to hear what you have to say. And that's what I want everyone to understand. We all are here for not just ourselves, but also to help others. You longing for someone to listen to you as well. And actually want to listen to, hang on to that last sentence you have to say. Instead of, understand you're longing for a space where you can communicate. Someone who actually wants to get to know you deeper and knows that you are going through a change. Everyone is going through a change in life. But if we don't check up on people, if we don't get checked up on people, if people aren't checking up on us and we're not asking each other how we're actually feeling, it feels more lonely. But also we need to know that there's places and safe spots where we can verbalize and speak and feel understood. We shouldn't be a constant harsh on ourselves and have harshness be presented to us. If you're in a conversation with someone and they feel like they're rushing into making assumptions about you and you don't feel understood truly, you can say, actually, if you care about it, you can actually make them aware that there's more. But you're someone who is the listener. You care about what other people feel and think. So you are there for others. And other people think everything is fine. Yes, everything is fine or it's not fine. But they'll never know. Because the assumptions are around you, leaving you, there's a gap between what people think and who you really are. And that gap is where you actually want to be. You want to feel alive with the people around you. You feel like you want to just be your authentic self and be appreciated for who you are. Not put on a mask, not feel like you have to live up to anyone's standards, but be seen for who you really are. Whether it is your education, whether or not like how you're supposed to think, or how you're dressing, how you show up for work. We all have just expectations of one another, but there is more to you. There's more to you, and I feel like that's what you really want to tap into. Are there people who are letting you express that part of you? Keeping to ourselves because we just feel misunderstood. So what's even the point to circle back to kind of give them the whole picture, or give the society the whole picture. Because that's just, we want someone to actually be curious about us. But we live in a selfish world, and everyone just says me, me, me. But there are so many people walking next to you on the side street. You can relate to a lot of people. But we just assume that there is nothing. Whatever you see, that's who they are. But that's not the case. There's so many layers, like an onion, basically. And as soon as we realize that every single person has a story, and if we lean in to listen to their story, and we do that, you want to take off that mask. I'm not suggesting you have a mask on, but your true self wants to blossom and be appreciated. And you want your people around you to encourage that, to ask follow-up questions, to just listen to everything with no judgment. That's it. We don't want to feel judged. We want to feel understood and not misunderstood. And you know, sometimes we ask, why are some people distant? There are probably micro things that we do to sensitive people that make them retrieve into their little shell. And pick up on that body language, pick up on their voice. When they retreat, or when you retreat, there is something that is causing that. We don't all have the same sort of personality or upbeat way of expressing ourselves. But the ones who are quieter, doesn't mean they have to yell or have to speak loud to have their voice being heard. But they don't feel like the need to do that. But we're living in a society where that is sort of the people who are louder are getting the attention of heart. And it's sad to think that. And if we know and feel like the people around us don't care, then we're just doing it all ourselves, no? It's not true. There are people who care, but we don't know how to get that out of it. And it doesn't feel great, because it could mean that you're retreating and being a bit more quieter and inwardly. But we want to bring that out, because you have something to say. And I want to see the full picture of you. You want to see the full picture of you. And we want to embrace everyone to be understood. But as a society, it is harder, because we all have our own way of doing and our own way of being. It's a constant, like, let's rush around, like there's no time, and the surface level things is important. And we're neglecting feelings, emotions, and the authentic person behind it. We just say, you have this job, so you're a shopkeeper. You are a bus driver, so you should be tolerating this type of abuse. No, this is not right, right? We are actual people fulfilling a role, but it isn't our whole self. Even though we spend a bunch of hours at work doing a job, we don't feel like we can be heard in all the areas of the person we want to be. People ask, well, what do you do? And then based on that job, it's just, okay, like, let's talk about the weather. They're just ways to connect on a surface level, but there's more, and we just got to dig deeper. And I encourage you, me, and our community to dig into what makes you special and what you love doing, and continue being curious about other people. Show and create a safe space where other people can feel understood and seen, because that's really special, to feel seen and to not make and throw assumptions. Even though they're sharing their social media and their life, It's just one snippet. There's so much more behind it, and they can elaborate. So saying, oh, I just saw that whatever you did and that sounds great, and move on. You can ask, well, how did it feel? What did you learn? What made you do this experience? There's so much behind the scenes that we could learn from one another, and also ask ourselves. If there's not interest, if there's no space in creating the environment to be vulnerable and open and have deep conversation, we're not going to do that. And we don't want to assume how certain situations should just be dealt in that way. If something happened, like you got fired, or you missed the bus, or you missed this, it's a situation, but everyone has situation happen to them and they deal with them differently. And we should not believe like we understand how they feel. We should ask, well, how did that make you feel? And by opening up actually how you feel and having someone listen to it, that's when real connection happens. And we're longing for that connection with others. We're not meant to just be by ourselves, isolated in a room, minding our own business. And I think it also comes down to how we tone, how patient we are, and how our tone of voice is. The tone of voice really gives you the carpet of conversation. And the pace as well. There's a certain casual pace that we have if you go with your friends to a bar. It's a louder and more bouncy conversation. But the kind of conversation that you want to really feel understood will mean that you are given the permission to speak. And the person across you will demonstrate active listening. And in that way, your heart starts to open and you start feeling like that heavy heartedness is melting. And then after that conversation and you feel seen happened, you're actually more present with everyone around you. That's what it feels like to feel understood and seen. And we all have that craving. Yeah, well, this is the video for today. I'm really curious to know how you feel, because it's a community that I'm forging and want us to be together on this journey of being more emotionally vulnerable. So this is the safe space. Thank you so much for watching this video. See you next time. Bye.